Holy baby's first rave, Batman! Tiki here, and I have just gotten done watching Batman the Animated Series for the first time, and at last it's time to go back to the future. Try and tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But now Batman has become part. has become part of. Sorry, I'm kind of struggling here.
You okay, buddy?
Sorry, I think I got it just a little off.
You're all good.
Serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
Tonight we are talking about Dead Man's Hand. All right, Dragon, this to me is probably about the most, I like a lot of it. Certainly it's a hard act to follow from the last episode. It's kind of funny because the last episode, Dragon, I have a good analogy here. The last episode was like all the Great Conroy, man. It was all the Great Conroy.
It was wall to wall, all the Great Conroy.
And then this episode, it's like, just, I want you to imagine, Dragon, I want you to imagine Alfred, not like the dead corpse of Alfred that's in this timeline, but, the real
bring
Alfred.
Everyone down, but yeah.
The actual Alfred. I want you to imagine, Drag. I want you to imagine Alfred serving you just a tiny little finger sandwich, Dragon. A tiny little finger sandwich. And it's like a dashing of Great Conroy, sir. Because we don't have a lot of Great Conroy this episode, but what we do have is sparse, but really good.
There is indeed a Great Conroy moment in this episode.
No, I know there's a couple Great Conroy moments. I'm just saying it's not as spread out. It's like, okay, instead of it being really spread out, it's like just a couple little tastes of the Great Conroy.
Okay.
All right. I like this one. I don't necessarily love it. I think that, Dragon, I think my main issue with this episode, honestly, kind of comes down to the fact that I really do like Terry's dynamic with 10. I have a couple issues. First of all, I do think that the Dana thing gets, I'm sure that we'll have notes on that when we get to it. Are they broken up? I don't know. It seemed to happen very fast. But also I just kind of think the whole family, it was a lot of characters to keep track of. I wasn't really a fan of it being like a whole family. I guess the whole thing of her moving around a lot is good with the family angle. I realize I'm saying family, freaking Rob Walker is Ralph Bakshi, but whatever.
Yeah.
But, it's okay. It's good. Decent Selena Kyle parallels for sure. And one really, really good Great Conroy moment. It's not knocking my socks off, but it was a fun time.
Yeah, so a little context on this one. So
we get a rave.
Sorry. Yeah, that was the main thing I was excited.
We get a rave. We're raving, Dragon. We're raving.
Yeah, you got your first rave.
That's buddy. So Raven.
Okay. All right, so this was directed by the great Dan Riva, who did appropriately enough. He went on to do Wild Cards Part 2, which was the essentially the retroactive introduction of the Royal Flush Gang.
Mm-hmm.
The writer on this is the great Stan Berkowitz, the Burke. Writers of Burke. So Stan Berkowitz here, the guy who did Never Fear, Cult of the Cat, and most appropriately, he wrote the Wild Cards episode of Justice League, which again retroactively introduced the Royal Flush Gang after this. So speaking of which, so studio worked on this, of course, unsurprisingly, Coco, a little splish of Dong Yang, but we have a little sprinkling of the Great Conroy, a little splish of Dong Yang. What else are we going to put on this platter? Big old helping a rave, first course of rave for the evening.
I don't think it's a big old help, and I would say it's an appetizer, Dragon. I would say it's a rave appetizer.
It's a salad of rave.
A salad of rave. God.
Multicolored salad of rave.
It is very. I like what I'm seeing of it so far. I'll say
Have
that
some
much.
rave salad, Tiki. You look famished. Go on,
Oh my
have
god.
some. Anyway, no, this is yeah. So this episode again is kind of not chronologically, because of course, chronologically, we have all of Justice League followed by Batman Beyond. But in terms of the way they produce these things, you have the new Batman, you have Superman the Animated Series, the new Batman Adventures, and kind of rounding out the three that are in production at the same time. You have Batman Beyond. Then, basically, as they're doing Batman Beyond, they get the okay to do Justice League.
Mhm.
So, not knowing where they would go with Justice League, they did the Royal Flushing. So this is the first time we introduced the Royal Flush Gang, at least production wise, into the DCAU. They had no idea they'd ever do a Wild Cards episode in Justice League. So it's just them okay, we don't want to just do we don't, as I've said before, one of the mantras of the show is we don't want to just do it's a Batman villain in the future, because it's like Penguin is a robot. We don't want to do that.
Sure,
So
sure.
because of that, they did kind of archetypes of the Batman villains. Like so far, we have kind of an archetype for Clayface, only it's a corporate saboteur with ink. And 10, as you said, 10 essentially is Catwoman. For the Terry McGinnis Batman. And also, it was mainly them looking at, okay, let's do something kind of celebrates kind of the legacy of the DC villains, a character or a group of villains that we have never done in the DCAU up to this point. We obviously can't do them in Superman. We never really had time to do them in Batman. So it's like, hey, in the comics, one of your villain groups is the Royal Flush Gang, because they have a really cool gimmick, and they usually kind of get linked with the Joker and stuff, which happened during the which happened in that Just League episode, which they were kind of homage to. Yeah, Joker many times is linked with the Royal Flush Gang. So here again, it's like, hey, let's introduce the Royal Flush Gang as a way of kind of giving our Batman some villains, just kind of coming up and kind of doing an old pull. We're going to make it kind of futurized and everything, and do kind of a legacy factor with it. So yeah, they kind of found an interesting way to kind of pull that off. Anyway, so you'll notice though, because of this, because of the retroactive nature of all that, it's oddly a little inconsistent. If you really think about it, we hype them up really awesomely here, again, not knowing how we're going to loop in the Joker on things, years later in Justice League. It's like, hey, Royal Flush Gang's been around. Batman's probably had some run-ins with them over the years in episodes we never saw from Batman the Animated Series. But it's like, hey, then Wild Cards happened, and they are not really like a royal erudite family. They are just a bunch of metahumans that the Joker kind of branded and gave them like a playing card gimmick.
Mhm.
Oddly written by the same guy, so I'm going to have to assume, well, clearly he knew the episodes that he wrote with the Royal Flush Gang. He put
Right,
him in
right.
there. So I think the logic is Joker came up with the aesthetic, and then kind of the aristocratic people then made it their own thing for years after that. That's the only assumption I can really take from it to make it all fit together all nicely and put a little playing card bow on it. We have the great voice cast here. Did you catch who does the voice of King?
I did not.
George Lazenby, the one-time Bond. He is
Wow.
King.
Okay, that's a deep cut.
Also, Olivia Diabo, if I'm saying her name right, Olivia Diabo.
I was gonna say if we were to cast the King in live action Dragon, James Cromwell.
Really, Cromwell's your guy for that?
Yeah, I would go Cromwell.
I mean, that's a good pull. I'm not.
I could see him rocking that beard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, so we have like three that come to mind. You got George Lazenby, you got Olivia Diabo, who plays 10, and of course I had to triple check this because it didn't sound right to me. It sounded like it would have been the voice actress of the mother, but yeah, Olivia Diabo here. She plays English a lot. Oddly, not this role, despite her mother kind of having kind of an English kind of ness to her. She played Morgan Le Fay in the Justice League episodes, like kids stuff, for example. Morgan Le Fay with the metal mask and everything. The sorceress lady. And also, she is Jane from Legend of Tarzan. She voiced Jane Porter in the Legend of Tarzan show.
Nice.
And her mother in this, Amanda Donahue, she was a guest star in Legend of Tarzan in a very memorable episode I would highly recommend to you. She played Clayton's sister, getting revenge on Tarzan.
Oh my god, that
seriously,
sounds awesome.
It's a really good episode too. It's like a one-time.
Well, if it was on Disney Plus,
I know. I know, of all the
Okay,
things.
to be fair, I know I could find it elsewhere if I tried.
I know, but still, it's like, come on, Disney Plus. But
Oh
I think
God,
they might have like the movie version of the thing, but not the series for some reason, and I don't know why.
it's the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate, Dragon. It's fine.
We have the movie there.
Yeah, but the Edgar Wright Burroughs estate is picky bitches. That's why they've never done Tarzan again in Kingdom Hearts.
There.
Anyways,
So anyway, that's pretty much it for the. That's pretty much it for the background. We have some comments.
yes. Lucas Green says something that's not really touched upon is that it seems Terry is only going to 10 Melody as a rebound for the fallout with Data, and Melody knows that as she's witnessed the fallout.
That is true.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that when we get to that scene. I have some thoughts there. Atomic Beast says, presumably Joker didn't create the Royal Flush Gang. He just took the name from a criminal.
I mean, Joker is known to, mess with copyrights and plagiarize. So I mean, I guess it's not a real possibility. But I don't know, the way they played that is like Joker, like he really went hard introducing the Royal Flush Gang. I don't know about that.
Joker is known for being unoriginal, especially in his jokes.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not entirely without credence, but I don't know.
Also, to both Tiki and Bluedragonfive, aside from Queen, what position on the Royal Flush Gang would you be? King, Jack, 10, or Ace? No one says 10 has to be a woman. Let's say Ace is not a robot. 4 options. What do you say, Dragon? You feeling lucky? You want to be a queen? Well, no, he said aside from queen. I'm sorry. You want to be a king, Dragon?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably, I don't know, I kind of like I'd probably go with King, I guess, just because I like that he kind of has like is kind of a coat of arms for the family. He's kind of like a regalness to the crime and everything. I don't know. It's the fact that the fact that this guy's like
that Ace. Let's say Ace isn't a robot, but instead he has like Iron Man armor. So that sounds cool. I'll go with Ace.
Okay.
I'm just saying, he says it doesn't have to be a robot. So sure, instead of a robot, he's got the Iron Man armor.
I mean, still, I think it'd be more for Jack though, Tiki.
Think it'd be more for Jack? I don't know.
Honestly, yes, I think you'd. I think you go for Jack. It makes you cracking the wise and everything. I don't know. He's gonna want to use back. I don't know.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right. So further ado, let's
get this rave started, baby.
So we have a bunch of 1%ers yachting, and they're
Dragon. It's every 2022 movie.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? How many of those movies did we have that started with that exact same premise?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You got Knives, you got Glass Onion, you got that Woody Harrelson boat movie.
Yep. That's at least 3. I could probably think of more.
Anyway, so they're making fun of this guy in a small boat, and then the Royal Flush Gang arrive. Now, one of the cool things about this envisioning of the Royal Flush Gang, they got the flying playing cards, which make a lot more sense in the future because you can have flying hovering things versus just like they happen to do that. So yes, so basically these guys are like kind of an elite criminal unit, basically a literal crime family. As with I mean, seriously, Tigger, how do you feel about the Royal Flush Gang as a gimmick villain team? Because these guys do pop. They love to bring the Royal Flush Gang, especially in Justice League stories.
I'm not crazy about him, Dragon. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of one of my hangups.
Well, I always thought this one. Like, I know you didn't really. I remember you not being crazy about the original Royal Flush.
Yeah.
This aesthetic might be more pleasing to you. So really, this one didn't do it for you at all.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't do it for me at all. I mean, it's fine. But I'm not like falling over myself. Like, hell yeah, Royal Flush Gang.
Okay. Anyway, so they disable the guards, and then we have this is a gag of like they knew they had George Lazenby playing King, so they did steal a line from his Bond movie and they put it in the episode. It's really kind of cute. Where he's just later on it's all the time in the world, but he's using like all the money in the world and not an ounce of refinement. So basically, all the blank in a world's a James Bond reference. Anyway, so let's see. He throws like a knockout gas playing card. I love the playing card tech that these guys use. It's all themed to the playing cards. Really nice. So we have an odd daytime patrol for the Batman. It's broad daylight, and he's reporting in on a bunch of people dressed like playing cards. Then we cut to the Bruce Wayne himself. He's like, Playing cards? So they travel in your circles? I'm afraid so. So Batman goes to intercept here. Let's see. Let me go introduce myself. Terry with the one-liners. We're getting a whole bunch of these in these coming episodes in season 1. Hey, how you feeling about the quippy Batman?
Oh, I'm loving it, Dragon. I really am. I think it's a little bit more refined than Spider-Man. When I say refined, I just mean like I feel like he's it's a little less corny than Spider-Man, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But Spider-Man's going out of his way to make jokes where it feels
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Terry's kind of, Terry has a rapacious, kind of a rapier wit. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of fits.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let's see. So anyway, so we have this bit where like Jack's like trying to Ten and Jack are like going to this lady, this rich lady in a dress, basically about to steal her jewelry. Oh, come on, you'll buy yourself a new one anyway. Oh, I think she earns hers the old-fashioned way. That's an edgy joke for a kid's show. Anyway, Batman intercepts there was a battering, and then here's stuff that again, kids WB apparently it's okay. Fox. Back in the damn Batman the Amateurs, you can never get away with this. Ace grabs Terry by the throat and throws him really hard into like the boat.
Uh-huh.
Like bam, just tosses him into that thing, and then we reveal. So the big reveal here at the Royal Flush Gang is that King has come back to Gotham to match wits and challenge the Batman after the Bruce Wayne's Batman humiliated him years later and sent him to jail, presumably.
Yeah, so I do. This is one of the elements of the episode I do appreciate is the kind of the cross-generational sort of grudge match we have going on.
Yeah. And the fact that the Royal Flush Gang, as we learn, is kind of it's like a mantle that gets passed down, which obviously parallels what's going on here with our Batman passing of the torch story. So that's good. Let's see. So Queen, she disables the controls and basically, oh, yeah, there's your choice, Batman, my husband or these passengers. And of course, Batman being awesome, he saves the passengers. A little high society lady in the white dress. So Terry informs Bruce that they got away. Well, everything's fine, except they got away. Then Batman, Bruce is on the other line saying, okay, well, we're going to need to regroup. I have a lot to tell you. He says, okay, sure, later, but I have an appointment, but I need to talk to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that doesn't count as like the McGinnis get out of there now. No, it doesn't count.
yeah, right.
All right, so we see what the prior engagement is. It's going to the juice bar, which is our first rave.
Hell yeah! Get on your dancing shoes, Dragon.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they dance at raves anymore. I don't know what the fuck they do.
Well, according to this, they dance at raves.
They probably dance at raves. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I will just say the animation does not disappoint. I'm loving the colors. I'm loving the flashy style.
Mm-hmm.
I love the juice box as a name.
The juice bar, but yeah.
Juice bar, right. Okay, come on. Don't you admit the juice box would have been even better, though? Come on now.
Yeah, it would have. Anyway, but again, it's the fact that like we can't get away with a real bar when we have teenagers, but saying the juice bar is kind of a clever way around that.
Exactly.
Anyway, so Terry, he's importantly here. Terry's making a good faith effort to balance things out, and again, it's the first time a Batman's really had to balance a social life and truly balance a social, because Bruce Wayne's always pretending to be like the himbo kind of billionaire playboy sort of thing, but Terry's trying to kind of have a life, but also be Batman. He's trying to pull the Spider-Man of it all here, which obviously never ends well. But he's making a good faith effort here. Where he put Bruce Wayne in his place there. Says, okay, later. I'm going to show up later. This can wait. We'll talk later. So this is the first real snag with Dana here, where basically she's.
But Dragon, is it a breakup though? That's my hang-up.
Well, okay.
I don't think this is a breakup.
Well, that's the. It's not. Okay, so. They treat it like a breakup in the episode, but Bruce.
Yes, clearly, I understand that. Clearly, they treat it like a breakup. I'm just saying, like, from my context, if this happened, like, absolutely, I would be discouraged. But, like, I wouldn't, like, she didn't say, like, I never want to talk to you again, Terry. It's more so, like, frustration in the moment. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely rocky, but it's not, like, a concrete, we're over. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think there was an element of finale there, but then they realized. I think Bruce ultimately is right because next episode they're gonna be back together. I'm just gonna tell you that much. They're
Yeah,
gonna.
you see, that's what I mean. I mean, and I'm not even surprised, And
Yeah,
honestly, I'm really, 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 really emphasize on the really glad that they didn't have any sort of messy scene where
yeah,
Dana is like overseeing him kissing
yeah.
10.
That's
You
the
know what I
thing. So
mean?
I think they just found a way to
That was
circumvent that.
smart. That was smart on the writer's
Well,
end.
that's why we have a temporary breakup, though, Tiki. So we don't do that, and they don't have Terry cheating on anybody. So it all
Uh
works
huh.
out.
Uh huh.
There's no misunderstanding. There's no cheating where Dana
I don't
broke
know.
it
I
up.
still think it's a little dodgy on Terry's end. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, how was it done? What did you do?
Because it happens literally right afterwards, Dragon. Right the
She
fuck
broke up.
afterwards.
She broke up with him.
Dragon, I don't know. Okay, people in the comments, tell me who's right on this argument. Like, is it a little sketchy to be literally hooking up with someone the night of a breakup? Come on now.
How is that? What is it? Okay, you'd rather be sad for a day instead of just like, well, she kind of broke my heart there.
Dragon, I'm saying there's a relationship there. Even if
Yeah.
it's over, there's still some healing that needs to be done. I don't know. People in the comments, I genuinely want you to sound off on this. I'm
I'm
not
just
just trying
saying.
to gauge engagement here.
I'm gonna say it. I think Terry made a good faith effort with Dana here, and I think he was I think he was very rationally explaining. So, look, I got responsibilities, Dana, and then she says, she's. I don't. I think she could be a little bit more open during this. And he's saying, okay, look, forget it. He's giving her space, but I think the telling thing here, I like that there is credence in the episode there that Bruce, Bruce is absolutely right that Dana. It's kind of like I like Bruce's lady's advice here, where basically says you and Dana will be back together, no worries, because she does look back to him after he
Uh-huh.
leaves. Like she was hoping, but that's the thing. She's like playing games with him right now. It's like she wants him to, like, hey, make more of an effort, come after me more. Well, why, Dana? Why should he play the games? Just listen to the reason, and just I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think she could be given a little bit more here. Just like, well, I think he gave. She knows what he's doing. At least, you know what I mean. She doesn't
Okay,
know what he's doing.
Lucas Green says it seems Terry is angry and Melody kind of took advantage of the situation. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Melody's looking for like a kind of a fling anyway. She didn't really, but she really ended up liking the guy. I don't know. It's a
I
little
mean, to be fair, they didn't really like hook up or anything. They
no, God,
kissed
no,
once or twice, but it was
yeah.
more so just. I mean, she even said outright, like, "Look, I'm going to be moving away soon. This cannot be a thing." You know what I mean? Like, even if we wanted it to, this is not gonna. This is not going to be long term.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a unique enough circumstance that I think it's fine. Anyway.
All right.
Okay, so point being, again, Dana looks back. It's like, oh, she still likes that McGinnis boy. Meanwhile, we meet Melanie Walker. You meet Melanie Walker. We have kind of they do a little walk and talk, and they have kind of this Manhattan-esque kind of like walk through Gotham, and they're basically these. It seems like Terry's having someone a little receptive who kind of is kind of from a similar walk of life. It seems, at the very least, the kind of a similar circumstance in the moment where she kind of has like a family business affair of sorts. Where like, yeah, my boss, you should ask your boss for some time off. Oh, not this guy. You can't ask this guy for time off.
Mm-hmm.
And they and she's a little aloof because she moves away a lot, because of her parents' job, as she says, and she's not lying here. And yeah, it basically gets uprooted every few weeks. Kind of hard to lay down some roots there. And Terry has an idea of what that's like. And then she moves really fast into that kiss. But again, she's got that now or never mentality of it's like, well, what about later? Later, like how later? I don't know, tomorrow. By the big clock. So Tiki, it's not just the clock; it's the big clock.
Right.
Remember, Tiki, this is gonna be an important symbol in the episode. So it's the big clock.
Okay, Lucas Green says, did we ever find out what they like about each other, as in Ian and Terry, or I'm sorry, as in Ian Terry? That's literally a Big Brother player. I'm sorry, Freudian slip. As in Terry and Dana. I hope it's more than just that they look pretty. No, I think what it is I think it's the fact that they're both struggling with kind of like time management and being out of the loop on, on social circles because of circumstances. That's how I read it.
Hey, I'm sorry, Lucas Green means like the Terry and Dana relationship, right? Or does it mean Terry and Melanie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was speculating about those two. Yeah, I don't know. Do we find out what Terry and Dana like? I don't know. I just think they seem like a cute couple.
That's what I'm
I don't know,
saying. There's just
Dragon.
something kind of like there's kind of like a chemistry there. Just I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Anyway, well, again, we kind of see it in play like a little bit more. I don't know, it's the fact that we have the interesting thing with Terry Dane is the fact you have a Batman with a steady girlfriend. That's the interesting thing we usually do not have because again they made a choice very early on. Batman series, we're not going to do a Julie Madison sort of thing. We're not going to use one of the comic book girlfriends who like eventually Bruce Wayne gets engaged and it doesn't go well. And obviously we have the Andrea Beaumont thing. That's as close as it really got there for a movie. So we don't really do that. It's kind of hard to do that in a series because then you have to raise all the ethical questions of, well, can Batman have a wife? Like, can that work? Like, how does that, how does that go?
Uh-huh.
So this show did kind of play with that here. Unfortunately, I think they were kind of on the receiving end of, well, maybe Batman does not have a girlfriend for a reason because now he's going to keep kind of dodging Dana, and then we have to address in episodes like this, like, well, maybe she's not going to be happy about that all the time. Yeah. All right, so a point being, they're going to meet by the big clock tomorrow, like at midnight. So we're going to have that. So again, we have a nice 3-act structure going on in this episode. We should mention that. So Act 1 is the two crazy kids meet each other, and then we reveal who Melanie is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. So we have the Batcave scene here. We're in the Batcave, and I like the cordialness of Bruce and Terry here. Bruce is like he's making conversation with Terry. It's like Dana again. Yeah, that's over. Thanks to you. Don't dramatize. You'll be back together soon enough. Like he's rooting. He's kind of Bruce Wayne's kind of rooting for those two crazy kids. I kind of like that. He's like, you'll be back. He's like the grumpy old man. You'll be back together.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
and the fact that Bruce Wayne has experience in all these flaky relationships, he knows, like,
Oh,
yeah,
that is really fun.
yeah,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
the women they always want you. It's fine. It's gonna work out all the time. But then again, he was a billionaire, so I don't know if it's necessarily the the
But
best thing.
McGinnis is a charmer, man. I
He
feel like
is.
McGinnis is way more of a charmer than Bruce Wayne ever
He's got some
was.
JGL charm that
Yeah.
Terry
Oh God,
McGinnis.
some JGL charm.
He does.
He's got some young Stephen Young charm.
He has also got that. And we've seen how charming that kid is, both in live action, but more so animation.
Yeah, exactly.
That kid's got charm for days in animation.
All right, to be fair, he's like 40.
That's what I'm saying. In animation, that kid,
Right.
Stephen Young.
Anyways.
So we learned the Royal Flush Gang again. They've been around for a long time. They have history with Batman. The idea is they bring in family when others retire or go to prison. So it's the aristocrats of crime being their nickname. And then we transition to Jack fencing with Ace. A little unfair because Ace is all brute strength, so it's kind of not really sparring as much as I'm gonna slash the robot. So King's we see he's scrutinizing Jack over the fence. If you're this good, we'd have stopped Batman. And what's the difference? We got away. He's like, years ago, Batman broke up this family, outsmarted and humiliated us, and I want revenge. So again, so he's had years of basically years worth of payback, and it kind of like he's been planning payback for years against Batman. And then Jack is asking a logical question here of like, well, how's revenge going to make us richer? And then gets bam backhanded, and that's the backhand, kids. He gets a full backhand, like blood is coming out of him.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying the rarity of blood, man. That's big when we get some blood. Anyway, so then 10 enters. Like, where's 10? Of course, 10 enters, and it's Melanie Walker. Bum, bum, bum.
What a twist. I never would have guessed.
Very solid Act 1.
Yeah, no, it is for sure.
Then Act 2, now you're the big heist that is going on the next night. They're going after this royal sword for reasons we'll get into momentarily.
It straight up looks like Excalibur Dragon.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love it.
So let's see. So obviously, 10 and Batman here are in a rush so they can meet each other for their big midnight date under the big
yes,
clock.
I do really like the dynamics of that. It is very Batman Catwoman.
Yeah, it's a mix of Batman Catwoman, very Batman Returns, as well as a little bit of Spider-Man in there too. Just like Spider-Man always having to get from one place to another within like an hour,
Sure.
Anyway, so we have like she's cutting these wires and disabling the security, and then we have the Bond reference, like you have all the time in the world. It's 11:09. She's got to be there at midnight. Yeah, right. So Bruce Wayne has a hunch that they're going to go after the sword tonight. Of course, he's the world's greatest detective. That hunch is going to be proven right. And he points out the card puns, and I love this gag. He's a really good Terry line, by the way, where basically Bruce lays out that the early basically the early playing cards they had instead of spades they had swords, so they're going to be going after a sword. Well, how does that correlate with the yacht? It says it was a yacht club. Ouch.
Wordplay.
I just love that Terry's like kind of like wincing at the pun, like ouch. Wow.
Like, oh, that pun's just physically painful.
I
man.
know. I love that.
You hurt me more with that pun than you did with your punches, sir.
I just love that Terry has like a low tolerance for puns. All right, so 10's in a rush, and in being in a rush, she cut the wires and she disabled the security. The problem is she did not pull the wires out of the console, so they're still like interconnecting, and the little sparks are conducting, so the security system is kind of dodgy and coming back on. So they are caught. Thank goodness Ace is a robot.
Yes.
Just shows up and kind of bails them out with Plan B there. As he kind of rips the top off the place they're about to steal. They're surrounded by a bunch of guards. King is being all salty, saying, all the time in the world. He's really ticked off at Ace. I mean, that 10, justifiably, because again, 10 did kind of botch this up. All she had to do was remove the wires. That's all she had to do. So again, Ace comes in with Plan B. He's crushing the heck out of these guys, and then they're getting to like a messy brawl for an escape plan. Meanwhile, Batman trips him up literally with that grappling line. Oh boy, they went down like a stack of playing cards. Anyway, so of course Terry coming in with like you don't look so royal now, and he's battering Bola's Ace and everything, and yeah, they got some cool fight, right?
It's pretty impressive, yeah, for sure. I don't know, Dragon, you know me, I don't really have a lot to say about these kind of scenes. It's cool. Like I said, I think the main thing I do have to say with it is that I really like how how they're flying around on kind of like the Silver Surfer style playing cards. I like that visual dynamic. I like kind of like the flying element to it in the action.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love when he trips him up like that, because they're all like kind of flying on these cards. It kind of adds like a little oomph to what's going on there. And then let's see. You have 10 versus Batman. He hesitates punching her, which you get a little Batman Returns in there. The whole "you wouldn't hit me, I'm a woman." that whole thing. But obviously, we don't go full tilt with that here. But I just like that. It's kind of there's a little hesitation there. And again, he's a green Batman. So anyway, Jack takes a guard hostage. And I love the dagger blades that are kind of like in his gauntlets. Love that's a really good visual thing for him. Like they each have like a signature weapon. Queen's got like the staff. King's got the sword. Ace is just muscle, and 10's just kind of she's more kind of aesthetic and security and stuff. So not really a main weapon.
Sure.
But anyway, so it's 11:32. And they both got a place to be here during the whole 10 versus Batman thing. So again, they take a hostage. They tell Batman not to follow. Of course, being Batman, he's going to follow. They drop the guard. Wait, no, you. And 10's like, no, you can't drop the guard. It's crazy. We don't kill people. We're thieves. So we then have a very painful Batman save, and I love a good Bat save. But my God, this one hurt just watching it. Right.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
That thing. So Batman, it's like that save in the Nolan Batman in the Dark Knight when he saves Rachel, because Batman takes the brunt of that fall. So that's things that suit it's taken some kinetic impact or something, because basically he grabs the guy from midair and he can't really glide him off. The suit
is like more aerodynamic, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's not more armored, right?
No, it's not. Well,
yeah, that's kind of the trade-off, right?
I think it's not like this way. I think, given the energy weapons of the future, because of that, it's kind of armored, but not armored in the sense of like padding.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, he has enhanced strength, so I don't know like how much protection he does.
I don't know, man. I don't think enhanced strength could protect you from a fall like that, though. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like, all we know is the fall got a little slowed, but regardless, he took a lot of impact there. I mean, the suit has to help a little bit, but you're right, though. It is not. He's not an airbag in that suit.
All right. So, anyways, after all that fight, Dragon, we get to the real action.
Yes, like anyone who loves the movie The Vow, get ready.
Oh my god.
Well, sorry, The Notebook. Anyone who loves The Notebook, get
Yes,
ready.
yes. Oh man.
So,
So Terry Dragon, he's standing out in the rain under the clock tower. He thinks he's been stood up. He thinks he's had his heart broken.
not just the clock tower, the big clock tower.
The big clock tower. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So then we cue the cheesy teen drama music. Like I love the guitar. What do you think about the music in this scene too? Because I love just playing the cheesiest like you're playing like the cheesiest guitar theme of Melanie they're running to each other in the rain. Where's an airport when you need one?
Oh boy.
So they were both late. That's the thing. Here's the thing. Terry has found kind of a kindred spirit, someone else who is late but is also putting in the effort. Even though he's late, he's still showing up. And so she's wearing his jacket. They're doing a little walk and talk there, and then they have the big dilemma that she really likes this guy, and her family's kind of getting, like her father was like getting, well, hey, don't argue with me again, and pointing a sword at her. It's kind of an abusive angle to the family. We saw him hit Jack. This guy's not a good father. Not good. So we have the dilemma here. Family's moving real soon and saying, well, can I see you tomorrow? Well, you mean tonight? And they look and, oh, there's a sunrise. I spent the whole night talking to each other. Ain't that cute? So, Tiki, we're about to hit the best scene in the episode. But before we do
that, Drag, we should probably shout out some comments.
That's what I was literally saying. But yes, let's talk
about awesome. I'm sorry. Okay. So Lucas Green says, the big clock, huh? Clocky must have left a memento, or Clock King must have left a memento before he passed.
Yep.
I like how when you read that, it literally just looks like clocking.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's kind of they melded Clock King into one word. But yeah, it's like imagine Temple Fugit one of it, like the Temple Fugit, like not that he would be in Batman Beyond, but imagine like Temple Fugit's last action as he was behind like a new clock tower.
Okay, Lucas Green says, in all honesty, we don't know what Dana is doing during all this. For all we know, Dana might be having a one-on-one with someone else.
Yeah.
Atomic Beast says, given that King has a beef with Batman and the original King, could it be possible that King set up his father-in-law to get arrested?
So they're gonna so TK, I meant to mention this early in the backstory, but there's kind of a trilogy of Royal Flush Gang episodes with Batman Beyond. So there's gonna be 3 of them.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, once per season, man. Get over it. It's
you know what? To be fair, I did like the dynamic with 10, so it's like if it follows that up, I might be into it.
There's an arc.
Okay.
I mean, she's not a major. They track. There's comedy.
It's not like she's Selena Kyle, but yeah, I get it.
So, point being, there is they mentioned I think when I rewatched the episode, I made sure of this. So they did not mention the father-in-law this episode. At least, I mean, you didn't hear anything mentioned about the father-in-law in this episode, did you?
No, I don't think so.
So that's the thing. I'm pretty sure in the next episode they're going to mention the father-in-law. So that is an excellent point that he is making, where it was unclear. Like, all we know is he is not crazy about the idea that the Queen's father will always look down on him. So presumably it's a good idea that perhaps he was ushered into the family, like he was given the mantle reluctantly to be king, and perhaps him sending her father to prison is what made him king.
Sure.
So that's the implication that Tom B's getting. So I think there's a lot of credence there. That is probably what happened, because King is crafty. He does plot revenge and everything. So I think I think Tom Beast might be entirely right about that.
All right. So yes, let's get to the big moment, Dragon.
I've hyped this one up before. When Conroy passed, I did talk about this scene. I love this scene so much. This is the most underrated scene in Batman Beyond.
No, it's great. It's wonderful. Yeah, it is the great Conroy moment of the episode, and it deserves that title for sure.
All right, so Bruce Wayne is like, they're in the Batcave, and Bruce is sure that they're going to, the Royal Flushing is going to hit tonight. And Terry, in fact, is getting distracted by Melanie. We saw that in the field a little bit. I think the idea is perhaps he hesitated because he has Melanie on the brain. Perhaps that's why he didn't hit 10. regardless, the fact is, like, Terry is looking for excuses not to go out as Batman, which absolutely, I think Bruce is absolutely right here. But I think, again, he could give the kid a break now and then. Like, he didn't need to rush him over. He didn't need to say, "Come over here now, so I can tell you about the royal flush." I think he could have waited. He didn't really need to do
That's
that.
true.
So,
Yeah.
so I think there's some gray there. But I
It's
think overall,
urgent exposition, Terry.
well, just tell me on the phone.
But
Like, no, you have to be in
I need the
person.
slideshow.
Got like a whole month. I got like a whole. There's an art budget to
Oh
these
my
episodes.
God.
I got to show you this.
All right, Dragon. This is how the conversations actually always go.
So Glenn worked really
It's just
hard.
Batman just being really excited about his exposition.
Yeah, just Bruce saying, "Look, Terry, Glenn worked really hard on this. We have to
Oh my
show
God.
it. Glenn loves the art direction. We have to show this off."
All right.
Okay, seriously though. So again, this is the first Batman to have a social life, so we got his new ground to cover here. So Terry's trying to get, again. It's very kind of like teenagers kind of rebelling here a little bit here, where he's trying to call out. Look, I mean, if you had actual proof here, I'm not going to just drop my plans at the drop of a hat because you have a hunch. I'm going to need more than that. It's like, you expect me to drop my plans because you have a hunch? Batman would. Already, I love. There's the warm up. There's the warm up to it. I love that. It's like just him again. The way he just kind of coldly responds there, just very blatantly again. Because Bruce is not wrong in this scene with what he says. Like, Batman would, and then we have the underrated Conroy. Everyone always goes to that shriek ending we already talked about last episode, which is great. And I can't necessarily say it's better than it, but for me, my go-to. Terry says, "I put my life on the line all the time. One night's not going to make any difference." And then Bruce Wayne stands up. He grabs him by the scruff of his shirt, pulls him in close, and gives him the bat, shoots him the most intense bat glare ever. And he says, with all the sincerity, all the pain from his life that he can muster, "There's the great Conroy kid. Look out that window stoically. There it is." He says, "One night always makes the difference." Just the philosophy of Batman, like the fact that this man, 70 years, I know he's pushing 80, but the point is he's an 8-year-old kid. He's either 78 or he's 80. It's the fact that this man, for 70 years, he's believed this line to be true for his entire life, and Conroy conveyed that in one delivery. One night always makes the difference. It's the whole philosophy of that one night in his life. Had there been maybe a little bit more police presence in Gotham, had there been like something, had they not made that one decision, like one night can ruin an 8-year-old's life.
Sure.
That's Batman to a T. And then Terry's getting a little defiant here, where he's saying, "You know what?" And Terry, I like that there is a part of Terry that is right here as well. Terry's not entirely wrong, but I think he is trying to hurt Bruce. Majority of it there. I think Bruce is more right than Terry is in this scene. But he's saying, like, you know what? You just can't stand to see anyone going out and having a life. And Will Friedle's giving a good performance in this scene too, just not to overshadow.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you just want me.
One night's not going to make any difference.
Yeah. Of course, the one that always makes the difference.
Oh boy, and that is the great Conroy moment right there, Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a lot of weight there. And I love how he just grabbed it. It's not just the line, man. It's the fact that he grabs Terry by the collar and like literally like physically holds him up to him.
Absolutely. I just love just the authority in that moment. Just again, he's been, Bruce is usually kind of passive with Terry in these moments, but then this really this stepped over the line for him. He grabbed this punk kid by the scruff of his shirt.
And then Terry, he is a little bit of a punk. He's like, "I know what this is. You just want me to end up alone, like you. You don't want anyone to have a life."
So what I was saying, Tiki, is I like that Terry, he's somewhat right here. I think that, and he's right in the sense that Bruce, again, is having difficulty understanding this is a kid who's going to have a social life. He hasn't lost his whole world at a young age. Like,
come over and see my slideshows, Terry.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, it's the fact that, Terry is, I think he's right in that Bruce just isn't factoring in that this kid is going to have a life at the end of this. Bruce is just, he's trying to, again, it's the idea of, it's kind of the clashing of ideologies here. Like, Bruce never saw Batman with an ending of having a life or anything. He was dedicated to, I'm going to clean up Gotham, and he obviously failed at that. Where Terry is just like, I'm just trying to do some good in the city here to kind of do right by my father and bring down Derek Powers. That's all he really wants to do here.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, like, Terry's, again, he's now, like, committed from, like, cradle to grave on this. He didn't make a vow like Bruce did. So
Sure.
he's writing that Bruce did not consider any of this, and that Bruce does kind of expect him to not have a life and not have any fun here. But again, he's saying in a really kind of like punkish kind of way here, where again, Bruce is more right than he is in the scene. Point being, we do the CW thing where he walks away angry. Well, he runs away angry, but same thing.
Yeah.
He runs away angry like any CW show.
Angry run.
Yeah. See,
All
at
right.
least the CW is like
Meanwhile,
always walking away angry, but at least with Batman, here's like he's running away angry.
meanwhile, with the Royal Flush Gang, the king is not happy. Not happy at all.
Yep. King's grilling Ten, and she calls him out on his whole Batman revenge business, opening up to a lot of risk, and he's being really defiant. Like, no one disrespects me or this family. And if you can't get behind that,
that is one thing I like about this sort of dynamic is that King is very domineering about, like, if you question his authority whatsoever in any kind of context, no matter how small, he will jump down your throat about it. And I think that's cool because it's, obviously the dude is the king. So it's like, it only makes sense. It's kind of like how in the new Puss in Boots, Goldilocks is obsessed with everything being just right.
But that's really funny.
Oh, it's a great gag. Yeah. Anyways.
All right. So let's see. So she opts to leave here. She tries to leave the family, and then her mother kind of stops her and asks her, "Hey, Ten, why? Well, what's the big deal here? Why is this good deal all of a sudden?" And she reveals love. Oh God, daughters in love. So then she explains, "Look, dear, men come and go. Some of the good ones are worth it. Not one is worth sacrificing all of this. Is basically not one is worth the sacrifice you're about to make here. And you don't know him. Well, you didn't see fit to introduce us because you knew he wouldn't fit in, didn't you?"
Uh-huh.
So basically she kind of knows, like, okay, this kid's a fling. Don't leave the family. Just one day you'll meet your king, like I did. And then he's probably going to frame him for murder. frame for basically frame him for a crime and put him in jail, and then usurp your father. Anyway, so she calls. Okay, so she calls Terry and basically breaks it off with him. And Terry can hear in her voice something's wrong here. That this is like she's not just doing this like on a whim. She's so something's troubling her. So he then uses the bat tech. He basically uses kind of like a code breaking. Basically, I imagine the future you have kind of like kind of information ports that may or may not. I think they. Sorry, let me just phrase that. I think the idea is in the future they kind of maximize what you can do with a phone booth. I think that's the idea. I don't know if maybe they're like a one-stop shop sort of thing where you have ATMs and phone booths all in one. I think that's the idea. Because he puts a card in, then he basically screen comes up, and he basically uses it to trace the call using the bat tech. He finds out where she's holed up at, and it goes there. Yeah.
Just to shout out some comments here. Atomic Beast says, this scene was a wake-up call for Bruce. For all his talk about duty and vow, Bruce hated being Batman, and seeing Terry become him 24/7 would be a nightmare. Yeah, very, very astute point there, Atomic Beast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Koski. We got Koski here.
Koski. Not Kopsky, but Koski.
Yes, not Kopsky.
He's not
just tell me on the phone. God damn it, Terry, you amateur. Atomic Beast says later episodes, Queen will regret it.
Oh yeah, she will.
All right.
She's gonna regret this advice. So, anyways, the point is Terry traces the call, and that leads to our third act, where he goes to the Robinson.
I love the style of this phone call, Dragon.
That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like
the silhouettes. It almost kind of reminds me of like a Japanese romance novel or something. I know that's a weird thing to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like those weird like Japanese romance games and stuff like that. I don't know. It's got a vibe to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, regardless, the shadow works nice because we have this here, and then we have like another kind of really good shadowed shot. Nice composition on a shot later on when we do kind of our base of the moment. It takes place right after our visual image here, but we'll get there. Right, we're going to the Robbins Hotel, and here's the cute little comic reference here. The Robbins Hotel, named after Frank Robbins, who worked on Batman.
Really? I thought it was named after John Robin Blake. Or I'm sorry, Robin John Blake.
Nope.
All
So,
right.
anyway, so Batman finds the loot, which has a security measure, which essentially is kind of like an equivalent to in a bank. You have like the blue ink bomb pouch thing. So this is kind of essentially open up. It's like a little flashbang thing that embeds in the floor, so they would know that someone's been digging around their loot.
Uh-huh.
So the Royal Flush Gang returns, and they have a whole bunch of cash cards. And again, this is kind of an inkling of what you're going to see a lot of in Batman Beyond. So in the future, them approximating where we were going in the culture was we were going to go fully paperless. We were going to go like we're going to have, how right now they have those cash cards. You have like the MasterCard thing. You buy like a gift card. It's like $50.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And Dragon, we are getting there, my friend. We are getting there. I would not be surprised if, like, in the next decade, we are fully there.
So that's the thing. Essentially, they oddly enough, it's like that Back to the Future 2 thing where they called a lot of things, not all of them. They called a bunch of stuff, and this is one of those examples where they called that we were going to have cash cards in the future, and they called them creds. They're going to call them creds more as the show goes on, but the idea is like credit cards that essentially work like cash cards.
Sure.
Anyway, so the point being like, cash cards, which basically means they can buy things instead of like fencing stolen goods or keeping it for a collection. So if I can actually buy some diamonds with this.
Uh-huh.
All right, so the king is disappointed that there was no Batman because he was saving a special card for him, which has the Sid skull from Toy Story on it.
Ooh.
Bum bum bum.
Oh
Death.
my God.
Anyway, so they know
I play Deadly Firework.
Yes. Okay, so
now it just evolves into them just playing a Toy Story trading card battle game.
Okay, here's a bit of trivia for you.
Oh God.
What's the name of the rocket in Toy Story?
The rocket. Oh, you know what, Dragon? That's funny you mention it because I'm like, man, I wish I knew it, because if I did know it, then I definitely say he plays the name of the Rockets card.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, what's the name of the rocket?
The big one. You know what?
The big one. All right.
Because when Sid opens the box, it's a joke where he opens the box, it's here, the big one, and he pulls it out and it says the big one on the side.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, so
in Dragon, it's the big one under the big clock.
Yeah,
with the man from Toronto.
Okay, now you had me, and then well, you can't. Anyway, so they know there's an intruder there, and then we have some awesome stealth takedowns.
Hell yeah!
So we have this cool thing where he kind of like lures her to like the knockout gas canister from the kind of the future bat tech that we have. There's a mistake, but there are two coloring mistakes in this episode. Queen's eyes are white before they turn red, like they're supposed to be. If you look between scenes, like when she walks between, like she's like, "Queen, go check this out. White eyes, back in the room, red eyes," like she's supposed to have. Little fun fact for the kids. Little no prize. So. Anyway, so he knocks her out, then with knockout gas and blaze her on the bed, and then he turns on the stealth mode, little camouflage mode on the suit, which I know you love.
Mm-hmm.
Then he just knocks. I love that he doesn't. This is really funny to me. Terry, being the Green Batman that is, he doesn't really use the camouflage correctly. What he does is he knocks Jack out with the door, and then he turns off the camouflage, and then Ace is strangling him and throwing him into the wardrobe. I mean, Ace is a robot, so he would have seen him anyway.
Right, it's fine. It's fine.
Still,
yeah.
So he tosses him in the wardrobe, and he's tossing him like through the walls and everything. And then the way he just, oh god, what he does to Ace is really brutal thing. But again, Tiki censorship, because he's a robot, you can do anything you want to him. He uses the rocket boosters.
That's very true, Drag. I mean, we have found that out, right? It's not just robots. It's like anything that's not human.
Mm-hmm. If it's not human, you can get away with it. Like for again, like ever since Captain Clown, you killed Captain Clown. Just for that, Batman. Anyway, so he hits him with a rocket boost down the laundry, and then he drops a grenade down there and blows him up. Crazy. So, let's see. So after that, again, he has some hesitation because now Terry is pieced together. He knows that Melanie is under the 10 mask. So he does not want to fight her. So this distracts him. And of course, then King tosses the death card at him.
The death card, the Sid card.
Yep, he tosses the Sid card at him, which is
God.
a massive explosion.
So play nice.
Our climax between Terry and King's really thrilling here, I thought, because he throws the death card at him. He's blown right out of the building, and he's hurtling down down the hotel skyscraper.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to do the bat glide with the wings that are built in the suit. But then King is following him, and he slices the wings off, with the sword, which is not good because he does not have a cape. He cannot glide anymore. This is bad. Thank God he's got a grappling line. Shoots the grappling line. Says, I knew you wouldn't disappoint me. And again, King's getting such a kick out of taking on this guy.
Right.
So he grapples onto the car, and then King is calling for Ten's help, and she hesitates. And that hesitation, this is my favorite bit of acting from Terry in the episode, by the way. I love this. Where Terry's going don't do it, just go. He desperately wants her to go. He's saying under his breath, like, come on, go. Don't make me take out. Don't make me do this. And then before she's about to help her father out, and then an officer of the GCPD shoots the card down, and she's hurling to her demise. And then Batman saves her, and then we have kind of our tragedy, kind of Romeo Juliet moment here, where kind of more of a Batman Catwoman moment here, where they're on the big symbol of the episode, the big clock.
The big clock. Dragon, you have to have that Man from Toronto style pause there.
The big clock.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. So the big clock. I mean, it's the symbol of them. Like, these are people who are perpetually late, so they meet at this clock. And again, it's like they're always like, they're never the wrong time, wrong place sort of thing. So they are again, another time, another place. All these sorts of time, kind of sayings you could apply to it. But we have a good money shot here where, again, it's kind of like the Batman Catwoman ending from Cat in the Claw, where it's like he has to turn her in despite him not wanting to, and she says, I don't suppose you could let me go, could you? And he doesn't answer. And then we have like the cool kind of Amerikami shot for you kids, where we have that Batman with like the police blimp behind him. It's a good shot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so then we have our sad ending. Tiki, are you ready for the sad ending?
Sad ending, Dragon. I wouldn't say it's so sad.
No, it's not sad. So sad. Just sad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's an adequate amount of sad.
It meets the measure of sad.
All right.
We have a sad ending here, bittersweet ending, I guess, where we have because we sweeten it at the end with a little.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Melanie, this is real. I feel really sad for Melanie.
I really like that Batman is just straight up like, "Come on, don't do it, don't do it." I like that. That adds a lot of tension there.
It does. I love that. It's a great moment. I love Terry. I think it's a great moment of acting from Friedel. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the sad ending. Melanie is being carted away, and Terry sees this. Terry, the fact I feel so bad for that. She has to. The guy that she likes has to see her.
I feel bad for both of them. I feel bad that he has to see it. I also feel bad that I honestly feel especially bad for her because she didn't even know that he knew. You know what I mean?
That's like she has no idea.
Like she's in her mind, he's seeing her like that for the first time, and that's like the last thing that she's gonna see. I mean, that would stick in someone's mind. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yes. So she's carted away. It's rather sad, and then we have this. I love that Bruce. This really speaks volumes to me. The fact that Bruce Wayne knew what he was about to go through, so he wanted to be there in person. Because again, Bruce barely leaves the house unless he really has to at this point. So he shows up there, knowing what this kid's about to see. And they have a nice. I like that it's like it's not an in-depth apology. Whereas Terry says, "Hey, listen, what? Oh, right.
Sorry.
So so we have this bit where Terry and Bruce have a nice moment. He knew what he was about to experience there. He showed up, and they have kind of an apology, but not an extended apology. Just the whole like, "Hey, Mr. Wayne, I'm sorry about what I said. Did this thing ever happen to you?" And also, a little color.
Bruce is just like, "Oh boy, you have no idea."
Yeah. Also, you'll notice his eyebrow changes color once before we do that awesome close up on the spot.
Dragon, you know I never catch shit like that.
Okay, but seriously, I love that this ever happened to you, and you have like kind of like a friendly version of the arrogance of youth,
The arrogance of youth.
but a kind of more like all shucks version of it, like the
Arrogance of youth.
So, but seriously, so we just have that great bit where like Bruce, he softens, he smiles, and you just have that bit. Let me tell you about a woman named Selena Kyle, and I love that. It's like a nice little bonding moment for them. The fact that these two guys, the whole show's about the relationship between these two characters, and it's almost like a Casablanca ending. There's a beginning of a beautiful friendship sort of moment. It's like, let me tell you about Selena Kyle.
Absolutely.
It's real nice.
All right. So yeah, final thoughts. I mean, like I said, Dragon, I don't think this is like top caliber from, we're 9 episodes in, so I think I've got a pretty good kind of sample size here. Like, I obviously don't like this better than the last episode. I honestly don't really like it better than Golem, just because I think Golem is a little underrated. I don't know. I think it's kind of right in the middle. Like, I think I like it a little better than Heroes. It is kind of like right in the middle there, I think, as far as like if I were to rank what we've seen so far. It's a solid episode. Love the rave, obviously. Let's see. Lucas Green says, sorry. Terry seems to only be getting back with Dana because Melody is a criminal, so now Terry is rebounding Dana. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to lie, Dragon. That is a little bit sketchy. I wish that wasn't a factor. Like, I am sure the writers weren't even really thinking about that, but it is going to be in the back of my head a little bit. But
well, and Terry knows it never would have worked because now he's in the know about what she was and everything. So I don't think it's necessarily like
that's true. That's true.
Know.
Let me tell you about Selena. Don't be too discreet, Bruce. God. Let me tell you about a woman named Talia al Ghul.
Oh, that's another.
There's many of them. Let me tell you about a woman named Andrea Beaumont.
Let me tell you about Diana Prince. She's Wonder Woman.
Oh, God. She's wonderful. She's
let me tell you about Zatanna. She's magic.
Oh, God.
Let me tell you. So there's a long list.
Let me tell you about Harley Quinn. She did something very, 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 very offensive in my Batmobile once.
Yeah, let me tell you about Real. It was kind of a one-time thing, but
Okay, all right. I think you get the point here.
Anyway,
let me tell you about Chase Meridian. All right, I'm done.
Let me not tell you about Chase Meridian. Let's just. Okay. Let me tell you about Vicky Vale. Alfred got fired that day.
What if every episode of Batman Beyond just ends with old Bruce like starting to reminisce?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, kid.
Right. It'd be like the equivalent to South Park's "I think I learned something today" thing.
Well, I think it's more so the idea of like, what if just Bruce explained the facts of life to the kid at the end of everything? Like an Andy Griffith show sort of thing, They start to whistle and they just kind of walk off into the sunset.
Let me tell you about Rachel. Let me tell you about a girl named Rachel Dawes. There you go, Lucas Green. That one was for you.
But yeah, so I have a soft spot for the episode. I really liked. I like it more than Golem personally, but yeah, I don't know.
I really liked Golem, man. I don't know. I feel like that's my Batman in my basement for this series.
I'm shocked how much you like Golem.
I really liked it.
Yeah, but anyways, I thought it was good because I like the parallels, but it's not ham-handed enough saying no, she's literally Selena Kyle. Like no, it's just it's kind of like it's kind of an offshoot romance for him. It's like we're seeing kind of like it's the vigilante life's not really a place to find love.
Sure.
But I don't know. I like the Royal Flushing. I think it's a good aesthetic, and I like that it comes back, but not too often. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there. I think it held up on the rewatch, so that's where I'm at on things.
Okay, and with that in mind, Dragon,
we should thank
cue us up. What's the next one?
Well, should we thank the people?
Yes, absolutely. You're right. I'm sorry. Lucas Green, Atomic Beast, and a very brief but memorable appearance by Koski Productions. Thank you so much. You're all awesome. All right, Dragon, go ahead.
An old foe returns. An after-school special with Batman, Terry, in trouble? Bum bum bum. Can the Batman end the slappers epidemic in Gotham? Or will he find himself flattened by the pressure? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with the winning edge.
The big clock.
The man from Toronto.